That gut feeling you trust like a sacred oracle is often nothing more than a ghost signal, a corrupted emotional file left over from a completely different moment in your day. You think you're reading the room, but most of the time you're just reading your own internal leftovers. We've all been there. You meet someone new and instantly feel something is off. You walk into a meeting and sense a strange tension. You tell yourself your body knows something your mind hasn't caught yet. You call it a vibe, a hunch, instinct. You believe you're accessing a superior form of perception that bypasses logic. But what if your inner compass isn't pointing north? What if it's just being pulled by a magnet you forgot was in your pocket? The danger of this glitch is that we treat feelings as if they were objective data. When you get a bad feeling about a place or a person, you don't interrogate it, you obey it. You pull back, you close off, you become defensive, convinced you're protecting yourself from something out there. But the truth is more unsettling. Your brain is terrible at tracking the expiration date of an emotion. The tightness in your chest isn't a warning about the person in front of you. It's the residue of the traffic jam you sat in 20 minutes ago. It's the echo of a frustrating email you read before lunch. It's the emotional aftertaste of a completely unrelated disappointment. Your system didn't reset, so it projected that leftover state onto the nearest target. You aren't reacting to the present, you're being haunted by the immediate past. This creates a devastating loop. You reject opportunities, you misread allies, you interpret neutral situations as threats, not because reality is dangerous, but because your internal signal is saturated with old data. The conflict is existential. How can you trust your inner voice when it hasn't finished processing what happened 3 hours ago? You swear the world is hostile. You feel that something is wrong, never realizing that your mind simply failed to reset between scenes. You believe you're being intuitive, but you're just being mood congruent. You're looking at a fresh canvas through a lens covered in dried paint. This isn't a small mistake. It's a structural warp in how you experience reality. You are not a human radar. You are a human projector, and the images you're seeing say far more about what's happening inside you than about the world in front of you. The reason your gut feeling is so often a lie is buried in a simple biological limit. Your emotional system doesn't have a reset button. When you experience a strong emotion, the spike of adrenaline from a near accident, the slow burn of a professional disappointment, your body is flooded with chemicals that take time to clear. Minutes, sometimes hours. In psychology, this is called emotional carryover. It's the aftertaste of an event that lingers long after the event itself is over. The glitch appears because your brain is a relentless meaning machine. It cannot tolerate ambiguity. So when you feel a knot in your stomach or a sudden flash of irritation, your mind immediately asks, "Why do I feel like this right now?" And because it has already forgotten the traffic jam from an hour ago, it points at the person in front of you. This is what we'll call the ghost signal. Your system takes leftover emotional load from the past and projects it onto the present, mislabeling it as intuition. You aren't sensing the room, you're feeling the echo of something that already happened. If you're carrying unresolved stress, you don't just feel tense, you see differently. A neutral face becomes a threat. A harmless comment sounds like criticism. A normal pause feels ominous. The present moment becomes a screen onto which your nervous system projects unfinished business. This is a state signal failure. The system can't distinguish between a fresh signal from the environment and stale emotional data leaking in from the past. But because the sensation is physical, tight chest, dry mouth, urge to leave, you treat it as authoritative. You assume if the feeling is real, the reason must be real. In a system plagued by ghost signals, that is false. The feeling is real, the cause is outdated. Every time you obey one of these echoes, you make a decision based on expired data. What feels like self-protection becomes self-sabotage. You withdraw from people who haven't done anything wrong. You reject opportunities that are safe. You build walls against shadows. The world isn't giving you bad signals. Your chemistry simply hasn't reset, and your mind is inventing a story to explain the noise. Until you recognize this mechanism, you will keep walking through your day reacting to things that happened hours ago or years ago, convinced that you are seeing the truth when you are really just hearing the past. To stop these ghosts from running your life, you need to install a manual filter between your sensations and your conclusions. The first and most critical update is the provenance check. The moment you feel that weird vibe or sudden distrust, pause and ask, was this feeling born in this room, or did I bring it with me through the door? Be brutally honest with your internal timeline. If even a trace of that tension existed 10 minutes before you met this person or entered this space, the signal is corrupted. By tracing the origin of the emotion, you strip the ghost signal of its authority. You aren't ignoring your body, you're refusing to let it frame an innocent bystander for a crime committed by your morning commute. This single question forces the brain to relabel the sensation as leftover stress instead of intuitive insight. The second layer of the patch is the temporal decoupling. Adopt one strict rule: the stronger the gut feeling, the less you should trust its first explanation. Emotions run on a high-speed, low-resolution track. Reality takes a little longer to render. When the emotional echo is loud, delay your verdict. Give yourself a window, 30 minutes is enough, before you decide what the sensation means. The feeling may be real. The story attached to it is usually a shortcut, a fast scapegoat for internal discomfort. By separating sensation from interpretation, you allow the residue to drain before committing to action. You aren't suppressing emotion, you're waiting for the smoke to clear to see if there's actually a fire. The third patch is a regular state audit. Before you let a hunch dictate behavior or decisions, scan your system. Are you tired? Overstimulated? Coming off friction? Carrying unresolved stress? If yes, your intuition is currently offline. What you're hearing is interference. A compromised system is a noisy channel. It produces constant static that feels exactly like a warning. Treat intuition like a precision instrument. If it's dirty, you don't trust the reading. A bad vibe is often just the sound of a system that hasn't finished its last task, not a prophecy. You are not losing sensitivity, you are cleaning the channel. Learning to distinguish between a fresh signal and an old echo doesn't make you less intuitive, it makes you accurate. You move from a life governed by emotional phantoms to a state of conscious response. When you stop obeying every ghost signal your brain throws at you, you finally interact with the world as it is, not as your past discomfort suggests it might be. That is how you reclaim agency from the noise of your own biology. If this diagnostic report helped you identify a ghost signal, hit the like button and subscribe. What gut feeling did you have recently that might actually be an echo from somewhere else? Write it in the comments. We're reading the logs. Stay awake. The system is always running.